I didn't know how to dress for this room. I didn't know if it'd be cold or it's just right.
All right, we are live and everything is sorted.
Okay, good evening. This is a meeting of the Facilities Committee. It's December 17th, 2025. The time is now 6:34 p.m. And we're going to have a shortened agenda tonight. So we're going to try and get through this in time to get home for Trump's speech. Let's start with introductions.
Luke Johnson, Network Administrator.
Shonda Merrill, Assistant Superintendent for Business here at Greenburgh.
Dennis Pugliese, Director of Facilities.
Elizabeth Sindona, Assistant Superintendent for Police.
David Warner, Board Member.
Walter Simon, Community Member.
Chris Valen, trustee.
And on the internet, Michael.
Mike Messina, BBS Architects.
Copeland. Hello? Okay, we've got a Jay Copeland. We have no. Okay, Dean Sprock.
Yes, Dean Sprock, Savin Engineers.
Yasmin.
Good evening. This is Jasmine Ramirez, just a community member and a parent.
Katie.
Good evening, Katie McGee, parent of an 11th grader at Woodlands.
Anybody I missed? Okay, let's dive into it. So first we'll do project status with Mike Messina, 7 engineers, Dean Sprock, Nancy Barker is not here, and Dennis Pugliese. We have a report. Could you bring up the BBS status report?
Yes, 1 second. Okay, we go. Let me move some things out of the way. Yeah, let me zoom in.
Bigger.
Yep.
Okay, Mike, you want to lead us through it?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Water main project. Right now, I believe the attorneys are still working out to resolve the property issue that came up. Last I saw is that it appears the town's files or a town attorney is still trying to locate a deed or something to that effect. So other than that, I have nothing really more to update on that. And Dean, if you want to give an update on the construction side, I think he's pretty much at a standstill now, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, we, the issue Mike was talking about, Mr. Messina, is on the upper end of our, Stone Oaks end.
Yes.
Our contractor is working toward the connection at Pinewood, and he's gotten the okay to order the vaults that'll be installed in the ground where those connections and the backflow preventers are installed. So he has probably 4 days work, if weather permitting, 4 or 5 days work till his pipe is all in the ground. And I think Mr. Pugliese has a picture he'll be showing us about that. But we're like Mr. Messina said, we're a little bit halted, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. In addition to that access, Mike, we're also looking for some Department of Health approval that's required. So it's coming down a little bit to the wire.
Yeah, and I have a little bit of update for that. John Longo was telling me this morning that apparently the Department of Health and the Water Authority, I guess, changed addresses, and so they can't locate the application. So we're gonna give them another day or two and find out if they can locate it. And then if it can't, then we'll go to the next steps to have it to get signatures again and resubmit everything and cancel checks and whatnot. But apparently they moved their address back in October or whatever that date was. I don't know exactly. And they can't find the application that was submitted back in October. So we should know more tomorrow after the meeting. I believe they're coming to town, so we can get some feedback from them as far as locating them.
So in terms of, wait a minute, Mr. Simon?
You might be aware that the water department is seriously understaffed. And it's taken very long time for them to issue permits for water permits. You know, the whole town is suffering from the same thing. So one of the things you might consider, you know, how much work it required to resubmit versus how long it's going to take the county to issue those permits. But it's the county permits you're talking about, right?
Department of Health, the water authority will take the application and submit it to the Department of Health for their review as well, and then they return that
But
to.
they're seriously backlogged.
Yeah.
And any applications before them is taken not weeks, months. So just be aware of that. If you're aware of it already.
Yeah, we'll bring it up again tomorrow at the meeting for sure.
Okay. So there's a course of action if you get frustrated. So, so you have a connection at one end that you're trying to get legally established, and there's no issue with the connection at the Pinewood Gate, is there?
No, not that I'm aware of. Right, Dean, there's nothing on the other side.
Okay, good. And what about, we were looking at cost and a possible change order to have a single hydrant with a 6-inch connection near the mansion. And now, is this project going to be over before we can figure out whether we can do that or not? Is there enough funding left over?
So I think the next steps is once we find out about the property line issue, because there could be a change order there as well, depending on where we wind up having to connect to. So
Right.
that should be the priority one. We'll get that information when that time comes, so we don't have that number yet. Right, Dean? He didn't give us any preliminary numbers of what that might cost. You don't have anything?
I think Dennis is, or excuse me, Mr. Pugliese is a little bit more aware of that. We do have a document, don't we, Dennis, on that?
On the change order, the original change order?
Yeah, for that hydrant.
Hydrant, yeah, we did change the location, but
I'm sorry to interrupt. Not the hydrant. I know the hydrant we have a number for. I'm talking about the
the
connection
other
point over at Oak Drive. Yeah, that we don't have.
No, that's definitely kind of nebulous right now.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah.
So we don't want to put the cart before the horse, to figure out what that might cost and have the contractor go through the exercise of doing that. But I think we may have to, at some point, tell them, give us what the proposal would be, just to forego this if the attorneys take too long and drag this thing out more time, and just find out what that cost would be. So we'll bring it up tomorrow as well. I'll speak to John and to Stu, or Dean. You could bring it up even at the meeting too, and see if Joe from Javico can give us a number for what that might cost to connect that a couple hundred feet of pipe to the Heartland Drive. Heartland. And then,
the Stone Oaks connection, right?
Yep.
We call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been a little bit. I mean, just he's protecting himself. He hasn't really said a lot, He's like, I don't know where to jump until you tell me where I'm standing. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So the roundabout answer to your question is, we have contingency money in there. There is allowance money built in as well to the projects which we haven't touched. So I believe last time we spoke, I don't have the number in front of me, but I think it was over $100,000 still available in contingencies. So, I think that the Stone Oaks connection should take priority one, and then if there's money left over, or if talking afterwards with Miss Merrill, if you want to move funds around for fees and overhead and soft costs and create more money in the budget that way, if need be to do the additional hydrant later on, we can talk about that as well.
Okay. All right, next project.
Woodlands running track. So we're on hold now until the weather gets better in the spring. But everything is to my knowledge complete to this point. The temporary fencing is up, and that's all I think that we have right there, right, Dean?
Yeah, just to add, the contractor thought he had the full supply of 4-foot fencing, but he didn't. There was somebody dropped the ball on a back order. So that fencing is arriving tomorrow, and they are going to be installing the balance of the fence and the gates. So as Mike was saying, their work will be substantially done short of the track surface. And then also, I've walked the whole perimeter of the temporary fence. It's all secured presently, and there are 2 gates that the district has a chain and a lock, that they can access. But otherwise, aside from putting any barbed wire up or anything, I think we're as temporarily secure as we can be. We're not putting barbed wire up. That was a joke. I'm sorry.
Right.
I shouldn't joke like that.
Now that it is snowed, we'll see how much it clears up, but it's less tempting. Okay. Right, the field.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that's where it is until it warms up. Roof replacement.
Roof replacement at Woodlands is substantially complete. Contractor has started collecting his closeout items. And Dean, I don't think there's anything else really to speak more on that as well, right?
Well, he scheduled the manufacturer to come out tomorrow, actually,
Okay.
to do an inspection of. This is like, I think, the 3rd final inspection, because just a misnomer previously. But this seems like, with the paperwork that the district has put in order now, I think we're right on the brink here, and this is good. It's nice to get this closed out.
Yep.
Because we had some other little things we recently, we had to do some little changes, and that's done.
Right, the punch list.
Right.
With
Well,
the-
but then in
With the
addition to the punch list, there's
the connecting area where
We have
the
to
school.
sign off on the window,
Flashing.
That's the library, yeah,
around the existing window condition.
okay. Right,
So is all the flashing, I'm forgetting which building is which, is all of the flashing done, or is there still a gap?
Oh, no, it's done. It's just that when the windows are redone, it's gonna have to be redone again anyway. When you do the window wall, it's gonna affect
Right.
into the roofing system.
Okay.
I'll take the next one here. I did speak with Caliana today, the district-wide energy performance contract with the RWE.
Yeah.
We were expecting the electrical switchgear last week due to the snowstorm. I was told it's somewhere in Maryland or so on a truck, but they can't use the thing is so heavy, with the cold weather, they don't want to take the chance of transporting it, because with the hydraulics that they need to move the equipment. It's expected to be here next week though, that's what I'm told.
okay.
Next week,
This upcoming week, the 22nd.
is someone gonna be
Yes.
here to greet them, and I don't know.
Yeah, we have
Talk
to,
about that.
my staff has to work Monday and Tuesday.
So they are.
And as needed,
Or
yes,
scheduled.
they are tentatively scheduling a shutdown to install the transformers on the new pole over the Christmas recess.
Shut down
For the power to this building for an hour to 2.
an hour to 2, because there will be employees working, so.
Correct.
All that, you've got that all well in hand, everyone.
We're just working, it's ongoing. I just received an email a few minutes ago from Don Edison.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay,
And that's tentative for the 30th of December.
And Walter Simon, you had a,
Yeah, I just want to bring you up to date on the wall around, the battery storage facility. The contractor who is building one in one of the supermarkets is working on some sort of new technology which drastically reduce the cost of the wall. I suspect, I don't know this for a fact, I suspect it might be technology that they're applying for a patent because they're very secretive about giving too much information. But they said the design will definitely reduce the cost of the wall substantially. So we don't know. I think, but the best thing I think we should do is when we put it up, at least make sure we have enough room if at some point we decided that it's economical and for us to put it, to make sure there's at least enough space around the battery storage facilities to allow that to happen if it should come to that in the future. But, you know, but the design that the state is proposing, I can tell you, is a ridiculous design. It's taking a Ferrari when a Chevrolet could do the job.
okay, so the latest thing I had heard was that there was an idea, you know, we talked about putting bollards in and concrete barriers. And then you came back with the idea, well, we have boulders, okay? And if you surround the thing with boulders, people won't be able to park next to it. And you can place the boulders wherever you need to at whatever distance. Is there a recommended amount of space?
Well, the key issue that if it catch fire, you want the flames to go straight up.
Yes,
That's the key thing. So, so putting boulders around, that doesn't, unless the boulders have no space between them. It's still flames.
right, go find out how the Incans did it and build a wall, but really, the idea is. It's a placeholder now, if this new technology comes through, this cheaper technology, then you want to have enough
The space
space.
to put it.
And easily pick up the boulders and move them out of the way and build a wall, right?
Well, whatever mechanics you do that makes sense and don't cause a lot of expense to preserve that space, then I think that's something we should do.
You want 10 feet? What do you think?
No, I mean, how much space you should put around it?
Right.
Well, how much space?
Do they need to service the units? We'd have to look at the specs.
Yes, but
But
basically.
the access that they need to maintain them, they have to change
Yeah,
the battery or.
Right,
or get it
okay,
to work.
use service space.
I'm sure that they have that on the drawing somewhere.
So
Got
can I ask why this is marked as the balance of project is 100% complete and commissioned? If the project is more than the BES itself, the project is everything to do with the EPC and the district. And as regards to the BES, doesn't it include safety perimeter or the
Yeah, it's a fence.
right, the fence? I mean, so why is it 100%? I guess is where I want to get to. Why does it say 100%? Because I feel like there's still a little to be done.
The balance of the project is 100% complete. Once they're done with the installation of the switchgear and the fencing, then that's what's left over. So they won't put the fence in until the switchgear goes in.
Switchgear and fencing, because fencing's not listed there.
Right.
Fencing or bollards or boulders or whatever.
So basically, if you put the fence far enough, you just locate the fence further away. So if you do that, you have the space.
Mhm.
I think we're actually 95% complete at this point.
Cause you're trying to release the funds, we're 95% of it, yeah.
That's why I don't want it to say 100%. Let's be
Yes.
clear.
I mean, to be
That
exact,
feels-
I want to say 94.71. What do I-
95 will.
So we can round up to 95.
Okay,
Okay.
right. Okay, so. Next project.
Roof replacement projects at Highview and Jackson. We have a kickoff meeting scheduled for tomorrow. Construction right now is still scheduled for summer of 26. But there is some discussion about possibly getting them in there sooner. And I think we'll have those discussions tomorrow and ongoing into the new year to see when the contractors can get in there sooner if possible.
All right. Let us know how this comes out. So when do we know when we have to talk to the summer camps?
We're gonna start, having a contingency plan in the event that we need one.
Okay,
So there will be a plan in place just in case.
okay. It's good. Okay, anything else? Next project.
Yep. You mind scrolling down just a little bit for me?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. That's good. Perfect. So the next project is the science labs. As we spoke last time, we have a permit, or you should have received the permit from the state. And next steps now for January is that we're going to have a tentative bid schedule of January 13th. We'll go out to bid. February 10th, we'll have a bid opening, and to hit the award on February 24th after contract approve outs and in review of the bids. So we're in good shape for this project moving forward. Now it's just a matter of seeing what the bids fall once we got the bid.
Good, and you had some questions, Chris?
I am trying
I
to.
remember that you were concerned about getting rid of waste
Yes.
from construction materials, right?
Yeah.
And where you're gonna put the bins and all that stuff.
Right, because it's all near the new tennis courts. Cause that's the side we're starting on the,
Yes, the science
Right.
side, up on the top of the hill on that elevation, and, yeah.
and we're
East side.
starting in, sorry. I've got multiple thoughts, yeah, believe the plan is to start doing the work as soon as early June if possible. I know Mr. Smith and the teachers have already been starting their own classroom clear outs. But obviously in June and potentially in the summer, there will be people in the building. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking of, in the past, we've observed debris being discarded in a way that created dust clouds and debris floating through the air when people were around. I'm also concerned on the side where some of this stuff is gonna be tossed out of the rooms is near the tennis courts on a slope. So I'm concerned about how we're gonna get a vehicle and bins back there unless there's an alternate plan. You probably don't have any of these answers right now. But if you're gonna start having those meetings, which I know you've started many of the meetings.
So I could talk a little bit about it, and then Dennis, you can fill in a little bit as well. Maybe David, for the next meeting, it'd be good to invite Palumbo to come to it if you want to start talking about this project and the construction management of it. But we had a meeting last month, or actually earlier this month, with Palumbo and the district and the members of the science team to talk about constructability and scheduling, and Lou kind of got into it a little bit as far as staging and where we would go and where they would set up. But really, it's going to be up to him and the contractors and Dennis to decide, how things get staged, how they get set up, and whatnot. So there is going to be some documentation that the construction manager will provide as part of the bid to tell the contractors, here's where you're going to set up your staging, here's where you're going to put up temporary fencing, et cetera, et cetera. When the abatement work's done, he'll be a decon, to set up for that as well, and where you'll be dumping, to your point. All good questions, where the garbage comes out, where it has it transported through the building, that type of thing. So, I know he's thought about it. He's working up his drawings now. Maybe he'll have them ready for the next meeting if we can want to look at them offline. Even you can reach out to Lou and see if he has those ready for you, Dennis, and maybe I'll answer some of your questions and concerns.
Yeah, it's the people and to protect the new tennis courts, because I know we have certain things that have to be maintained in a proper way so that the warranty.
We did have a conversation where there is an access road there that would have to be manipulated around towards closer to the backstop and away from the tennis area, like through the woods, and then rejoin to where the existing roadway is right now.
Yeah, it looked like it was coming through the parking lot, if I remember correctly, Dennis, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think he's going anywhere near or not going near the tennis courts at all. As much as possible. Yeah. There should be no reason for it.
Okay, good. Any other questions regarding this project?
Mr. Simon, you have your hand up?
Well,
Yeah.
partially, if you're on the slope and it's near the tennis court, you said it will be. But in addition to silk fencing, you could put bales of hay to really keep things on the hill. So that might be a consideration depending upon where you're digging, how far away it is from the tennis court.
Oh, they wouldn't be digging at all. All that they'd be setting up is a container or two, a dumpster. And they set up the chutes and temporary fencing. There's no real excavation going on outside for the science project. It's really just getting the old casework out of the building and building materials out.
Okay, kind of like what we saw at Bailey. Okay,
Very similar to that. Yep.
and then, all right
So-
then,
So
project.
the last project I have, and I added this from our quick discussion at the end of last month's meeting, is for the energy performance contract phase 2, I'll call it, for the solar panels on the roof. So I know I mentioned it last time, but a new request for proposal, RFP, would need to be issued by the board no later than February of next year, so 26. And BBS can assist in preparing that RFP similar to the way we did it the first time. It can't be given just to RWE to add to the current contract. The state won't allow that. So we'll have to go through the same RFP process you did the first time. You may get RWE. Most likely you probably will because they're the most familiar with you guys. But there is the potential you can get somebody else that would provide those solar panels, and they'll have their own savings calculations and whatnot to prove out. Same way that we did the first energy performance contract. All right. Right now, it looks like the solar panels for the new roofs would be primarily on Woodlands and Jackson. And this is going from what Cal had just given to us as a cursory review that he did. I think his feeling was that Bailey was too small of a roof to do a solar panel to see any real savings or gains, and that Highview would require extensive tree clearing there. So that it would be cost prohibitive there to do that as well. So right now it looks like 2 schools as far as RWE's initial review goes. But again, if you put an RFP out, you may get somebody else that comes in and says, no, we can show that we're going to have a savings and it pays to put the panels on the roof at Woodlands, or sorry, at Highview. And, here's how we came about that. So it's a little one-sided right now because it's just you're hearing it from Cal's point of view at RWE, but again, the RFP really just has to be the first step to put that out and see who you wind up getting. The last bullet point for this is that construction needs to be completed and final. So all payments made, you have possession of everything. It's 100% complete. No later than December 31st of 2027. And that's because the big beautiful bill goes away. And so any of the tax credits or incentives will no longer be in effect. So that will hurt or hinder your savings potentially. So that's why the project has to be done prior to December 31st, 2027.
And I believe it has to start by July 1 also to get.
That would be if July 1, if you were trying, there's 2 ways you could go about it, which we wouldn't have the design done and SED approval by July 1. So that's one of the triggered dates points. You're going to fall into the category of completion. So you'd still be able to submit it after the July date. It's just a matter of having it completed before that. So that's that.
Okay, Meryl, do you have any concerns?
Well, the one question I have is, can you just explain to me what we would look to gain from this beautiful bill?
I'm not really the subject matter expert on it, but it's my understanding that the part of the tax incentives and credits you get helps to offset the cost for the ESCOs to provide the solar panels on the roofs. So, and that's how you get your payback, and no dollar out of pocket to the taxpayer. If they don't get those incentives and tax credits back as part of the overall project, and you can look back at your current EPC, because those credits are shown in RWE's calculations, because that's stuff that the state wants to look at before they approve the project, and the payback period and whatnot that's involved. But because those credits are going away, that's something that we just to be cognizant of, that you're on the clock, right? If we're going to do this project and you want to still try to make it work, you're going to need those credits most likely to make it be cost effective to do this project.
So to be clear, the original EPC, the original energy performance contract had a huge scope.
Right.
Because in addition to the battery energy storage system, we had new lighting put in, we had different energy saving measures put in place in the buildings. I think the DDC controls.
Yep.
Building
envelope, they had some insulation.
Right.
Lighting.
Right.
Exhaust fans.
So the cost for that
Yep.
$20 million
Pumps.
project
$21 million.
21.
is being offset by the savings, and if the savings aren't offset, we'll get reimbursed by RWE. What I'm hearing, I'm restating what you guys have said to make
Right.
sure I understand, so please correct me. What I'm hearing is from this proposed phase two, because of the tax credits available from the feds, is basically we're just paying for the solar panels. There's no additional gain from us. Would those solar panels be owned by us, and what is the time frame on that recovering of the cost before we actually see savings to us after paying for the, do we know any of that, or would that all be gleaned from the RFPs?
It would all come out from the RFP. Each, I'll call them, the ESCOs will have their own take and view on it. If you recall, I believe that RWE or Con Ed at the time when they initially did the RFP, they looked at the roofs to include it initially in that whole package, as you just mentioned, for phase one, or if you want to call it that. But because the roofs were still original and they weren't recently done, there was no real incentive there to do them, because you had to do your roofs first. So they excluded the solar portion of it. Now that you have new roofs done by the end of the summer coming up, now it pays potentially you'll get a solar system put on these roofs that would be a no cost impact potentially, and there the savings associated with that down the road.
How many years? Like, I think the original EPC,
Yeah.
15 years.
I think it's 50. I don't know the years offhand. I'm sorry. I just that I'm not that familiar with. That's really something that if Fred's able to come to the next meeting, he might be able to tell you. But I would think that it's going to be similar to the current EPC project. Probably 15-year at minimum. I would think. Might be longer, might be less. But that's usually like the payback period for these projects.
Would there potentially be haggling over which project gets the cost savings attributed to them? Because then there's going to be potential of, oh yes, those energy savings you're seeing are because of the things we did in phase one. Therefore, it balances.
I think it'd be completely separate. I think it would be completely separate.
You follow?
Yeah,
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm explaining it clearly. So I'm gonna shut up right now.
No, my bottom line is, regardless how long it takes, if we are being guaranteed that the savings will pay off the bond, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Whether that is. So my question on this next project, do we have a guarantee that the savings will pay off whatever investment cost, and there's no out-of-pocket cost to the district?
So that you won't know until after the RFP, right?
Okay.
Right. Right now, it doesn't cost you anything to put an RFP out. So
Right.
it's a matter of just soliciting the contractors or the ESCOs to come out, take a look at your buildings, and see exactly what they feel can be done, what it would cost, what the savings are, and then to your point, you don't want to potentially do an EPC project if it's gonna cost you money to do it.
Because I have to interrupt, because we keep talking about paying for two different things via savings. I don't want people arguing about which thing what the savings are from these measures or the savings from these measures. Right? And the baseline for this phase 2 of savings, I don't know if
We're
we
gonna
have a good baseline for.
I assume we're gonna get credit for power generated if we measure the power. That should take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, plus on the phase 1, we
Your
already,
delineation, so there's
Right.
no argument about.
right. Because on
On
phase
this
1,
meter.
we already, I'm sorry.
Okay,
No, 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 you're-
Phase 1, we already documented what the savings are. So anything from phase 2 has to be in addition to what was already identified.
So it'd just be based on the meter from the solar
Yeah.
panels and everything else.
Yeah,
So-
Ms. Fallon, if it helps too, this is
Yeah.
done pretty often in EPCs and districts that they do it in phases to the exact same situation that you're seeing here, that a lot of schools don't have new roofs. And then the years down the road, hey, we got new roofs, let's put some solar panels on them. And they have a separate EPC and one bucket of money doesn't affect the other bucket of savings, if you want to call it. They don't get intermixed, and one savings is calculated here and then we'll put it over to that one. It's two completely separate identities.
I would hope it would be a lot shorter than the 15 years. I would hope it'd be less than.
It probably is. It probably is. But again, I'm not the subject matter expert. It really depends on how many kilowatts that you're making on your roofs and the payback and whatnot. So
Along the fence lines, yeah.
I just have a couple things I want to say. So I just want to be clear, our financing for the EPC project is not a bond. It's called an IPA, which is an installment purchase agreement, which is financing arrangement structured as a lease. I'd have to read more into the massive contract we have with RWE, but typically what you see in a situation like this is at the end of the lease term, you buy the solar panels like for $1. So the district would own them. I think where I'm uncomfortable with this, which is not enough, I'm not uncomfortable to an extent that I don't think that we should consider it, because 30% is a huge savings to not take advantage of. It's the timeline. It's the fact that we literally, I'm just now seeing, or a couple days ago, that we would have to go out for an RFP by February. I mean, that's a very quick turnaround. And our project the phase 1 isn't even fully completed yet. So we're not to the point where we're able to really gauge what our actual savings are. Like we're nowhere near peaking out on our savings at this point, because we might be having some savings through the electricity or the natural gas, but the solar panels, they fully charge in the summer. They're not even connected yet. So it won't be till next summer that they would be fully charged. So we're looking at least another 12 months before we're really seeing the full impact savings. My personal experience in other districts have been with similar projects. It is extremely difficult in this situation to get the vendor to pay the district if we don't get the full cost savings. Usually there are a lot of contingencies built in there where, oh, well, the windows weren't shut all the way, or this wasn't done, or that wasn't done. Like they find loopholes to get around the district actually being able to recoup those funds. So that's how I feel about it. I'm going to look into the big beautiful bill a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see what, how it actually will benefit us, and then we can, the board can make a decision how they want to move forward at that point.
Okay, keep in mind that with an RFP, it may not be that RWE will get the.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. Any other questions?
The only other comment I want to make actually has to do with the science lab bid schedule.
Sure.
So I just want to mention that if the bid opening is on February 10th and we're looking to award the bid on February 24th, I just want to bring attention to the fact that that is a quick turnaround for us. So, you know, we should probably be cognizant of that. Because we have one board meeting on the 10th, and then they're looking to have it awarded on the 24th, but we won't know on the 10th. I would imagine, Mike, if I'm correct, we're not gonna have the recommendation on
No.
the same day as the bid opening. So.
No.
That's,
No, you
that's.
Put it in the Friday packet before we vote on it. I mean, in advance, like a week,
Yes.
right?
Do you know how
So
long
the
it might?
Friday, so if it's open on the 10th, that's a Tuesday, I believe.
Yes.
So if that Friday, the 11, 12, 13,
Mm-hmm.
it could be in the board, if
You think we could get the
Maybe the
recommendation that quick?
Probably not. The size and scope of the project, it's gonna, you know, speaking with Lou, and because you want to see first where the budget is, so that you'll know pretty quick once we open bids where we lie. But there's gonna be different ad alternates, and base bids to review, and Lou's gonna want to go through with a fine tooth comb, like he said at the meeting, you know, earlier this month, with the contractors, make sure they go page by page, make sure you got everything, because the schedule for construction is so tight and aggressive, and you're going to be working 2 shifts most likely every day. That you want to make sure you're hiring the right person. So
that following week in February, so that's why we're talking about the 13th as opposed to the 20th. So we'd need the, you know,
Email it to us.
the planning for that 24th meeting is actually happening a
now,
week later than normal. So
Okay.
it may not happen until March then as far as board approval.
Right, that's what I
Because
wanted
we're
to
closed
bring
that
up,
week, right?
because it just seemed like an unrealistic.
And I think we have 45
Deadline.
days, right?
You do.
After,
you do.
so going into March,
So if we opened up on February 10th, or sorry,
So March 10th, is that the first meeting in March?
give me a second.
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's the work session.
Okay.
So, I mean, to be more realistic, March 10th would probably be a more accurate date that it would get board approved. But
Okay.
that we'd still be within the 45 days.
right. That date does not get published to the public, you know, as part of the bid package. We let the contractors know when we're interviewing them after we open bids with the lowest bidder when they might anticipate getting an award letter. So we could tell them, you know, we're trying to get it sooner than March, but you know, if there's any way you could do it, a quick turnaround, it's going to help everything because, you know, you're right. If you wait till March, they're still going to get bonds and insurance in April. You know, before you know it, May's there, and they want to probably start, you know, getting material and whatnot going. I'm sorry.
The other option is to go earlier in January to put it out to bid. I mean, that's really the only other option. So is going out to bid earlier in January feasible?
I think
up-
I think that Lou still is working on his construction, you know, implementation plan. That date, I'll double check, but I don't think we're gonna want to move that up to rush it. To, you know, we want to make sure that it's all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted on the documents before we go out. So
Done.
that's probably the earliest.
Okay.
And I just want to ask one other question. I believe I did see an email. So BBS is working with our legal team to make sure, going over the RFP and making sure that everything is the way it should be.
Yes, so just so you understand too, we work, you know, we've been around for 50 years. We work with every single attorney that there is at those schools. Typically they'll review the front end, meaning the AA contracts, the general conditions of the specs that we have for your district every so often. We've always copied them on the plans and specs when they go out to bid so they can see it as a cursor if they want to see it. But a lot of times they're not going to take direction from us. They want it from you because you're their client. You guys are also copied on everything that goes out to bid. But anytime that the Jasper Schlesinger or Ingram and Smith or anybody issues, changes, revisions to the general conditions or any front end documents, those documents get done and become part of the master for you as Greenburgh. So there is one person, one partner that's dedicated to just doing that. He's talking now with Charles and Carol and Chris. So they've got some minor changes that they're adding to the general conditions, I believe, or the AA documents. We'll incorporate that, and those will become the master going forward. And we'll continue to send them, and you can continue to send them projects as we go forward. And most of the time, the changes aren't that great. But again, I just want to make sure you're rest assured that we're putting all the changes all the time in those documents. So what was sent is the most recent that we had. The insurance requirements, nothing changed there. That was all the same that they had issued to us. But I think just some minor front end general conditions and AA changes that he had.
Thank you.
Okay, good. I think that concludes our capital projects review. And so now we go on to project status. Mr. Pugliese. Okay, so. Yeah, you can.
I'm just gonna skip.
It's a number three. So scroll down to where you see number 3.
But, oh, this media is back out forward.
Here. There we go. Smaller project.
Right there.
Good.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oops, here we go. I'll just read it from, I got it. New certificates of occupancy have been issued in all the buildings. Mansion woodland certificates are temporary and expire May 31st, pending water project completion. Initial lead testing is completed for all of the facilities that needed them. The results for the new testing, they have decreased thresholds for lead and water this testing period. We had all of our fixtures that were tested in the district passed, with the exception of one sink at Highview. This fixture has been taken out of service, replaced, and an additional filter has been installed. And the water was just retested this morning. We should have those results back in a week or so. ECP main building, we have our kitchen renovations are in progress. Our flooring material has arrived, and we're planning on doing some work over the break. LF Jackson, we raised the drain and the speed dip at the entrance of the driveway. Cars with low ground clearance will no longer be bottoming out. Highview. We talked about the new flush installed in the kitchen to address the lead issue. RJ Bailey. I'm sorry. Yeah. RJ Bailey, we had excessive smoke in the chimney that resulted in calling the fire department. Con Ed and Crown Mechanical were on site. The students were evacuated to ensure that everything was safe. The Con Ed checked the building, and they found a minor gas leak outside of the building. So what we did is we shut down the one boiler that was putting too much oil into the firebox. That was causing the excessive smoke. One of the relays was bad. So that boiler was taken out of service for a couple of days while they took it apart and cleaned it. Then we also had while Con Ed was there, they checked the whole building inside and out for anything, and they did notice the gas leak that was outside of the building, a minor leak, which they did a repair to it temporarily. And on December 6th, our plumbing contractor, along with Con Ed, made the full permanent repairs.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have tandem boilers, so if one boiler is out, you still
Correct,
can
there's
keep
two
the building.
boilers.
Oh,
Correct.
that's excellent.
We had one classroom, the temperature was reported below 66 degrees. State law requires classrooms to maintain temperatures ranging from 68 to 82 degrees. And we try to maintain, something that's comfortable for the most students in the winter. The students were temporarily moved from one classroom to another room. Adjustments were made, and as of 12/16, classroom temperature is returned to normal 73 degrees was the other morning. Auditorium decorative plaster. Moved. The plan is to patch and repaint the remaining plaster and section as time permits throughout the school year. And we've replaced 15 aging locksets on the interior doors that are available. Okay, Woodlands. Turf replacement is complete. However, the field is closed due to track construction.
A bar, loose bar in Freelo Center?
Yeah, loose bar in the Freelo Center. Checking that anything loose, we're gonna tighten up. The stage lighting project has begun. The stage lighting and rigging project has begun on December 15th. They've started to remove some of the lighting in some of the poles. The project is scheduled to be completed by February 6th. This leads to rehearsal time for the spring musical. Scheduled to open on 3/13. Regular rigging inspections will be performed. The construction on the vestibule is complete. That project is closing out. Gas pipe installation is complete in and around the building after the meters. We're actually expected to have gas turned on to the building for the boilers on Friday. As in this Friday. So hopefully that'll go well, and we'll be back on gas in this building after years and years. Installation of solar panels and foundation work for battery energy storage. So we talked about that earlier. We talked about the best concrete sleeve around the best system. And on 2/25, the Board of Ed approved naming of the football field to Eller Memorial Field after Edward Eller, Superintendent of Buildings and Grounds from 1978 to 1990. Who is responsible for the construction and maintenance of the field. The drafted inscription, I believe we have a picture of it. The plaque has been fabricated, and we've taken possession of it.
Looks very nice.
Yes. Okay, mansion, we still have a broken window at the old pool entrance caused by settling. Fabrication of the new plaque commemorating the first performance of the American Ballet Theater in honor of the 100th anniversary in 2034. And temporary certificate of occupancy has been issued for the mansion. Also, teacher center, no new activity. Bus garage. I believe you have some pictures of the lower parking lot and the drainage work that we've done in the back there.
Yeah, they told me you've been doing it in
little
sections, so none of it looks new, but
it's just.
you can tell
this
the
year.
line where you've been working on and where you have.
And we still have the law that's going to affect the school buses for the 2027 zero emissions. The Royal Coach has replaced many of its older buses. New implementations and standard rules for extensions beyond the 2027 deadline will be available from New York State as of 12/31/25.
Did anything come in early, Shawna?
So far, I've seen nothing.
Okay.
It's a waiver that's going to be, we're all waiting for,
Mhm.
complete the waiver for a 2-year extension.
Okay, so let's look at the pictures.
Can I,
Okay, well, go ahead.
sorry, I meant to ask earlier. Oh, no, we can look at pictures, I'll do it anyway.
Okay. Okay, what are we looking at?
This is the lower bus parking lot. It's got some snow on it, but this is the, go to the next picture. Yeah, this is the ramp going up to the area that's in the background there, you see all the, that's the newer lot, that whole section from, the ramp that's going up to the bus garage. That whole section has been brand new. There's a drain, over there covered with some snow you can't see. Actually,
I
you can't
think
see, yeah,
you
you
can
can't
see
see
it.
right in front of the bus, right where the cursor was. Right,
There it is.
to your left, Luke.
So is the idea, as you do sections, as you work your way across, and pave this stuff that?
Yeah, we had to build up the elevations because it used to be a big bowl, all the water would pool
Yeah.
down in the bottom.
Mhm.
And we're trying to
To
eliminate
get icy weather.
ISO conditions, yeah, that's the drain right there. That was moved up about 1.5 feet to 2 feet from where it's previously.
Okay, so you're going to build more sections as budget allows, and it'll drain into that drain?
That whole, everything you saw right there.
Okay.
From the line, that all drains into that right now, correct?
Okay, got it.
Next picture, Luke. Yeah, this is just the same, different look, that's all new area.
Mhm.
That's the plaque again.
Yeah.
This is the sink at Highview Elementary School. It was taken out of service, a new faucet's been installed there.
And the water is turned off?
The water's been off, yes,
Okay.
and there's a new lead removal built there underneath the sink. Yeah, this is a picture of the water main fire hydrant project down towards Pinewood Road. Another picture of the work going on. And you see the lighting of the traffic controls. The diagram of the water main fire hydrant project. We're right now, it's you see the Pinewood gate on the lower right. Probably about, yeah, halfway up between where the circle is there, right where that box is right there. That's about where they are right now, right there. Okay, that's about the progress of the work right now. Next picture, Luke. This is the grotto of
The water tower.
the water tower. If you look, you can see there's windows and an opening. That's a concern was brought up where students might congregate inside of the building. If you look on the bottom there, Luke, there's a big opening how you can get in on the bottom there. And there's also another window. If you look to your right, there was
Yeah.
bricked up right there. That there was an opening that we had closed that up. I reached out to the fencing contractor. He's going to install fencing to cover that, to bolt up against the opening right there. He's actually fabricating the.
Yeah,
material now.
there were some that looked like they'd been bricked over a long time ago and more recently, so I
Yes.
wasn't sure.
Yeah, that was
That was like
one
the
that we
newest
just,
one.
that was one that we just closed up.
Water, they provided water for the mansion before the high school was built, right? And they made it look like part of the fantasy castle motif, right? So you had Rapunzel's tower.
This is a picture, back to listen, that's the work that's going on in the auditorium for the lighting and the switches, the electrical work. This is more work at the auditorium.
That's everything.
Okay, I believe that's the end of our pictures, and therefore, if you'll take a look at your packet, you should have a set of minutes. Can you bring up the minutes?
Okay.
And just make sure I didn't misspell anybody's name.
Michael Messina.
Mike E.L., yeah, okay. A.E. Okay,
Jeffrey Copland, isn't it, with an N at the end?
Oh, yeah.
plan. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, so start paging through. Got the discussion of the soccer field, which was extensive. And then we talked about tennis court access. And then phase 4, and we'll come back to all this stuff at our January 7th meeting. And then, the capital reserve and the repair reserve need to be updated, and then figure out how much of the balance we can actually use for new projects.
Or
And that-
reverse and identify priorities before we look at money.
Or we could do both at the same time and be ready that much sooner. Okay. Yes, and then, yeah, we've gone through. And this is the status of the local projects.
David, I do appreciate how you guys incorporate the diagrams and all of that within the minutes. I think that's
Yeah,
helpful
yeah.
when they're posted to the board docs. So I appreciate that. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good. We have minutes. Okay. Floor is now open to address new concerns.
Just,
Does anyone have a new concern? Yes, yes.
sorry, Mr. Pugliese,
Yes.
the buildings will be in light use for the next 2 weeks. And I'm just gonna ask, and I think I ask this every year, before we open up for full staff and students on January 4th, I wanna say.
That's okay.
Do we run the water to like clear out any little listeria or any of those other things that might, I forget the things that might sit in sitting water?
Typically, where the guys are in the building, there's always people here, there's practices on the weekends, there's games.
That's this building,
This building, yeah.
but the other buildings are.
The other buildings have workers also, there's not as much activity as you would have at the high school, but there are, workers are in, the guys come in for building checks, they run the water, they look at the.
So enough
They
that the
look at the
water,
heat,
the water's
yeah,
being run
correct.
enough that we don't need to do like a full
Correct,
flush or
yeah.
anything like that.
That happened that was in the summer. That has
Yeah.
happened at RJ Bailey, where they go back because of some areas it set for too long.
Right,
Okay.
although that building is in use in the summer, so that's why I'm asking, 2 weeks,
Mhm.
very few people is.
Yeah, we have workers come and do building checks, they walk the buildings, they check the heat. The workers are in there cleaning and painting, scrubbing floors, mopping.
And I haven't asked this question in a while, but it's a similar maintenance kind of question as far as the filters and the ventilation system in the buildings, now that we're entering flu and cold and who knows
Yeah.
what else.
Typically, we do that in the fall and then just before in the spring.
Okay, so they're fairly new
Typically
filters that
not
are in
filters,
place.
It's
Right.
All right. Yes.
I think we don't know, there's a lot of very good work being done on our capital spending, a lot of hard work, a lot of, detail, a lot of good results. But I don't feel the district is letting the public know. We don't toot our horns about all this good work that's being done. It should, we shouldn't wait just to when it's time to the budget. And then we should just be feeding this information on a constant basis. Look at what we're doing to your money. This is how we are responsibly spending your tax dollar. And, and that should be something, why hide your light behind a bush? You're doing good work.
I think that your tax dollars, spent, we do have it on the website, we have it in the buildings now, and it's better than when somebody just comes in to vote and they say, okay, here, we're voting on a new gym floor, or they walk, sometimes people don't get out.
That's right.
Other than the vote, you're not, going to events if you don't have students here, but I've heard more positive things in the last couple of years that,
Yeah.
wow, this is really.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I.
that's the
Yeah.
idea.
I mean, they did have a beautiful ribbon cutting
Yeah.
for the tennis courts, and I believe something similar will probably be planned for the field when it's done.
Yes.
So that is something,
No, they're
you know,
very-
we're trying to, you know, share the joy with the community.
But a lot of elderly people don't get out but vote.
Mhm.
And don't have kids in the school, so you
I
wanna
agree.
convince them, look, and although you don't have kids in the school, look at all the great things we're doing. So we just have to constantly keep that in mind.
Cable TV.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever means you have is
Maybe.
to,
Maybe, Mr. Simon, once the construction vehicles are off the campus, maybe we'll do like a little video tour of what's happened.
yeah.
And throw that.
Yeah,
on
that would be
to your
nice.
point.
That'd be
Yeah.
beautiful.
Right now, though, showing the good is offset by, you know, we've all have been
Showing-
dealing with traffic issues.
Yeah, but
The mountain
show
of
that something is being done.
That's
If
true.
if you show a building that's half finished, but then you show the other building, look what, the people realize, if you want to, you're remodeling your house, you know, it'll be a period of time when things will look a mess. But if you have the bathroom finished, you say, oh, we're doing a nice job here, you know, it just, yeah. Anyhow, that's my comment.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Any other comments? Anybody? Hi, Steve. Steve Morton is here.
I wrote them down.
Okay. All right. Then do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? We're adjourned at 7:40.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.